Good.
Oh, the sun is coming out.
It's sunny.
I know, it's very bright. It's not the sun, it's the
Oh,
light.
that's light.
It's a bit of both. Can't see their lovely faces.
So welcome everyone to this press conference for The Testaments, the sequel of The Handmaid's Tale. And we are very glad to have with us here Warren Littlefield, the producer, Bruce Miller, the creator and writer, Anne Dowd, Lucy Halliday, and Chase Infinity, the actresses. So first, just to start, my first question is for you, Bruce and Warren. Why did you want to adapt another book of Margaret Atwood? And in what way did you try to extend the universe of Gilead that you already explored in The Handmaid's Tale?
Who wouldn't want it? Do we need the mic? Who wouldn't want to do another Margaret Atwood book? Is this working?
It is? Try it?
Is it working?
It is.
It was a pleasure to that there was another book to adapt. And I think the answer to the question of how did you expand the world is that Margaret expanded the world. It's really her world to begin with. And I think it was very exciting to see this completely other side of Gilead, the very privileged people when the entire other show was about people at the bottom about a handmaid who was at the bottom of the social structure. Here are the women who are at the absolute top, and it still kind of sucks. So Margaret Atwood did us the favor of kind of laying out where we were and leading us to where we are. But the whole thing has been Margaret leading us. So this was just another step in that. I think everybody here's read all the books and dug around a lot and had ideas and all that kind of stuff. So I think, Margaret brought us to The Handmaid's Tale, and then she brought us to the Testaments.
Bruce is being very modest, and we are inspired by Margaret. Each and every day, actually. But Bruce also took a novel twice from Margaret and was able to put the architecture in place to do a television series. And that's a very, very different skill set. And I think he's done it brilliantly twice.
Yes, indeed. Second that.
S'il y a des questions? Just wait for the mic. So I was wondering, how was it to come back to Gilead for Anne, and how was it to go into the world of Gilead for you two? Do you have maybe advice from Aunt Lydia for it?
I didn't give out any advice this time. I decided they'd find their own way. They're very smart. It's wonderful to be back in Gilead. And as Bruce said, it's a different world entirely. And Lydia is a different person. She came from a very crushed place at the end of The Handmaid's Tale and had 3 or 4 years to think about it and bring into her mind and into her creation the idea of this school for the elite daughters of commanders and the Pearl Girls. So it's a very different world.
I think for the both of us, we felt very grateful to have Anne and also Bruce and also Elizabeth Moss, who's an executive producer on the show, as kind of our encyclopedias for everything, and we could really ask them about any question that we had about Gilead. And there was already so much source material out there, whether it be 3 of them, whether it be the show, or whether it be the books. Like, we really dived into everything that we could and latched onto all of the resources that we could. But also on top of that, they welcomed us into the world with such love and support. And so it felt very easy, honestly, at least for me. I won't speak for you, but stepping into Gilead, because they were so kind about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we both felt a weight of responsibility stepping into this because, The Handmaid's Tale was so beloved and it really resonated with audiences, and the books were so brilliant, and so stepping into it, you did want to do it justice, and you didn't want to be the cog in that machine that constructed what already existed. And so we did feel that, but as Chase said, we had so many people behind us who were involved in the prior show, who were there to reassure and support us and really guided us along the way. And that was really lovely and gave us space to step into these characters, which I hope the audience also enjoyed.
Things that we like about each other's characters.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, I really love Daisy's. I love her. I'm trying to think of the right word to call it.
I have no idea where you're
I know. I know you have no idea what I'm about to say. I love Daisy's, like, I know it's not sense of humor, but I can't think
her
of...
snarky.
Irrepressible.
Yes.
Irrepressible.
I love that, and I think that, like, it's so unique, and especially the way that Lucy does it. I really am charmed by it, and it really makes me laugh. And it's something that I look forward to whenever I get to hear Daisy, or kind of hear her inner monologues, or even just see her expression, and you can tell exactly what she thinks. And I think that's something I really love about Daisy.
Oh, I really love how headstrong Agnes is and how serious she is about everything, because that's also quite funny when you look at what it is she's taking so bravely serious, and you're like, whoa, Agnes, take a beat.
They could not be more opposite.
Yeah, they really are. But I also love Agnes's love for her friends, because I think Daisy really learns from that, and that opens up a friendship and a difference in Gilead for Daisy. So yeah, I think Agnes is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I would like to say that what's beautiful about these wonderful actresses is the joy they bring to the morning. And that is a fantastic way to start the day. So, very grateful to you.
Oh, thanks, Anne.
Hello, thank you for this press conference. You say it's a story of awakening and rebellion. How does the political situation in the United States make the show even more relevant today?
I don't know that it does make it more relevant today than any other time. The interesting thing about Margaret Atwood is I think she puts her fingers on the points of friction that really exist forever. At Handmaid's Tale, I read it when I was in college, a long time ago, long time ago. And still, then it seemed like absolutely the right time to read that book. And then again, I made the show 25, 30 years later, and it was still exactly seeming like it was built for that time. Because everybody thought, oh my gosh, it seemed like it was built for that. And now the same thing with the Testaments. I think it's more of a reflection on Margaret and Margaret's sense of where women are always and what things they're fighting always. And I think in that way, having her kind of write the Testaments and say, there's hope in Gilead, really is her saying there's hope in general, in the general world for women. Women will move forward. But I don't think we're doing anything specifically about today. I think you can look back, as Margaret says, you can look back on any point in history and find horrible things being done to women. Unfortunately, it doesn't need to be today. Handmaid's Tale to come directly, because I think a lot of the Testaments is, what do you want to do that's like Handmaid's Tale, and what do you want to do that's different? Well, no one knows the Handmaid's Tale better than Barker, and he also knew what things he would like to do differently and what he could do with a younger cast. So I think he was amazing in terms of building the world, especially, as a director. He has lots of responsibilities that are not mine. He kept all of them absolutely sharp towards, this is a new place, this is a new world, this is a new group of women.
I would say the writing is where it all begins. And I remember those early scripts and how stunning and really how clear they were about who is Lydia. Read the script, there it is. And also I was raised in a Catholic home with strict values, not horribly harsh or anything. And I was also educated by Catholic sisters. So, and again, not unkindly. But you learn very early that you're not special. You have a job to do it. Don't look for attention, don't walk away when it's not complete, get it done, get over yourselves. A very solid, there's no mirror here, just go straight ahead. So I appreciated that very much.
Hello, thank you, Nicholas from Switzerland. Maybe a close question. About your relationship, your link with Margaret Atwood. Is she really involved in the creation process, in the writing, maybe, or not?
Yes. I think these guys can say, have you guys all met Margaret?
We have all
Yes.
met.
Margaret's very involved in the show. Margaret would be more involved in the show if Margaret had more time, but she's busier than all of you put together. She's the busiest 86-year-old I've ever met. But she's very involved from the beginning. I mean, I think she was more used to her work getting adapted than I was comfortable adapting her work. Handmaid's Tale had been a play, and an opera, and a ballet, and a movie. So she was very loose with it, and I was a little more strict. But with Margaret, she gets every script, she gets every episode to see. She watched all the episodes with these guys, which I don't know how you guys watched with Margaret Atwood.
That was
sitting
exciting.
beside you. I know, exciting. I would be terrified.
I would too.
Yeah. And also, Margaret and I mean, we tried to talk at the middle of a season to talk about the next season. So and she's the first one I talked to before the studio, before Warren, and even before these guys. I talked to Margaret because it feels like it has to she has to say, oh, okay, that makes sense. And she's very casual about it. I mean, I'm always saying, well, what about this thing? She goes, maybe they're robots. Maybe they're from space. And you're like, well, we've read her other books. Her other books are crazy. So it's I think she running it past her and making it, not get the Margaret seal of approval. She doesn't want to approve it. She really wants it to kind of push beyond her. But you want to see her eyes light up when you tell her, and then you know you've really got something.
No pressure there.
I'll also say, every conversation we've ever had with Margaret, we learned something. We learned something about the world we live in. Margaret has a worldview. And so we always feel just a little bit smarter when we've had time with Margaret. It's quite remarkable.
Wow. I absolutely fell in love with the first script, and I think that every character was so different, and they're like the storyline in itself from just the one episode that I read, I really kind of zoomed through it, and I finished it, and then I remember finishing it and then calling my reps, and I was like, I have to audition for this. There's no way I'm passing up on this, because I fell in love with it, and I thought that it was so different and so intriguing, and also very, very, at least for me, I loved that it was very different to Willa, and it was very different to One Battle, because I thought that, like, something I always want to do is play the range that an actor gets to do, and I feel so grateful that I get to do it. But with Agnes, I fell in love with her story. I fell in love with her love for her friends, and her joy at looking at life. And I think that was something. Those were things that I fell in love with on top of the script and the world and the story, and also the thought of getting to work with Ann Dowd and Bruce Miller and Warren and Mike, and also Beyond and Elizabeth Moss produced show. Like, come on.
I think we had a question over there.
Hello, question for Anne. What do you think about Aunt Lydia evolution since the Handmaid's Tale to the Testaments? And
What do I think about Aunt Lydia? What, darling?
Evolutions.
Evolution.
Yeah. And what do you think? What do you like the most about this woman?
Oh, okay, where do I start? Well, if you remember at the end of The Handmaid's Tale, June Osborne brings her to her knees, literally, in deep and profound remorse. And when that happens in a person's life, you can make the decision, I don't care, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, and you don't know what you're talking about, so shut up. Or you can make the choice to change the way you see the world, to acknowledge what you have done, to live with the pain and the misery of that, move forward, and begin a new life. And I think she brings into Gilead the parts of Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale that she believes in. Her love for the girls, her love for the girls, the Pearl girls that come in of their own will, the daughters of the commanders. Just a whole new world, a lighter world, with less, I think, pain and suffering, to be honest. I think she's very happy with where she starts.
And we have time for one last question.
Question for you, Chase. What was for you the hardest part, about playing Agnes?
The hardest part?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I honestly think that the things that I thought would be challenging were the source material, and I thought that would be something that I would really have a hard time with because they are incredibly heavy. But I feel very grateful that the things that were difficult didn't feel as difficult because of the community that we built on set and then the ensemble that we created on set. And there's plenty of cast members who are not here today, like Roman Blanchard and Matteo Conforti especially, who kind of fill out our little friend group. But I feel very fortunate that like anything that I kind of was struggling with, they would be there to kind of catch me and they would be there to support me. And the same would go if there was something that Lucy was struggling with, or if there was something that Roman or Matteo were struggling with. It really felt like if you were having a hard time, there would be somebody there to catch you, and that felt universal across the board from the entire cast, from the entire crew, from the producing team. So I can't say that there was one thing that I found to be very challenging. Thank you.
I'll just jump in and say Bruce and I had the wonderful experience of the very, very beginning of Handmaid's Tale, watching June come to life. And we huddled around the monitor, and I looked at Bruce and I said, I think this is going to work. I think we may have made the right decision here. and now, 10 years later, we are on the set of The Testaments, and it's day one. And we huddled up a monitor, looked at each other, and we were watching Chase as Agnes. And I was like, is history repeating itself? And the response we had was a triumphant yes. That's so exciting. The development process, we began the development of The Testaments, working with Margaret, talking about the show in 2018. So it's a real evolutionary process. But to have that moment, and the two of us get to look at each other and go, oh yeah, this is working. It was pretty exceptional. Doesn't happen a lot. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.